All right, hey. I'm in uncharted territory right now. I have my old computer here because the software that I use, OBS, to combine things is not working with my laptop since I upgraded the software to the newest version. So, but what I have in front of me today is my SGC submission. So this is 15 cards. The total was about 31 business days is what ended up, and I'll put the dates up there. So 31 business days, not too bad. I've been doing some numbers, crunching some numbers just based on my submissions, and I posted this on my last SGC sub. This is SGC submission number 3 for me, return number 3. You can see I got a different box this time if you watch my other 2 submissions. So 15, I guess, is the threshold for a different box, or maybe they needed to get rid of some of these boxes, I'm not sure. But I was doing some math based on my first order and the last order that I submitted, order number 5. And what it looks like to me is, and I know you can click start a submission right now and it takes an order number, so this 100% is not completely accurate, but it's about 19,000 orders from the first one that I submitted to my last one. And what it averaged out to be was about 400 orders per day. It was way over that, but I'm lowering the number. But so if you're wondering why SGC is taking a while with your cards, 400 orders, give or take a day. That's orders. I mean, each order could have 1 card. It could have 400 cards. Pretty crazy, the growth that the company is experiencing. I'm pleased with 30 days. I definitely wish we could get it back down around the 20-day mark, which is what we pay for. But and who knows, man, when that will happen. I hope soon. But you know, to me, it's the service that SGC provides is top notch. I'm not the least bit dissatisfied with the way things are turning out. So order number 3, here we go. I do know these grades again because my planned way of revealing these, blind revealing these, didn't work out because of the software issues that I'm having with my computer. I have this top card. I'm gonna save that top card for last. It's an 89 Donruss Ken Griffey Jr. And I'm excited to show that one to you all. Pack pulled from a $9 or $10 89 Donruss box that I got off of Mercari, which is like an eBay alternative. But it was like $9 shipped, and I pulled 2 Griffies. And the 2 Griffies, if you go back and watch the videos, it's rather boring because it's long and it's just 89 Donruss. But it was funny because you could tell the differences between the 2 Griffies. Like color was completely different. So it ain't all about centering and edges and corners. You know, if you look at the actual color of the card and the print quality of the card, you know, for that junk wax era was really big. So this first one is a Fernando Tatis blue refractor from Bowman's Best, and it did get a 10. And that's the reason I sent this card, because it was really, really clean. I was pretty confident that it was going to get a 10. I have an extra one. So this was essentially a card that I wanted to sell. I could get more money for it graded than I could raw. So I submitted it and it got a 10. So awesome. Yeah, I know lots of folks mention this, but they put the number, the serial number of the card in the label. Very cool added touch. So I really like that. So the next one is a Wander Franco 2019 Bowman Chrome. Again, no, I didn't have any issues with this card. It was pretty clean, and it came back and it got the 10. So another card, I had a couple of these. I wanted to sell them rather than selling them raw. I sent it off to SGC. If I had sent it off to PSA, I would have gotten it somewhere around Christmas, and I didn't want to sell it for around Christmas. So Rafael Devers from 2018 Series 1. and this one came back with a 9. So I'll have to do some evaluation of this. I'm going to talk a lot more about centering later, so I won't beat it up right now, but that is absolutely could have been what got this, because there's a corner right there, but I was thinking it would get a 9.5-ish just with that little spot there. But 9 on the Devers. Pete Alonso got a really good deal on a couple of these, and these again were cards that I wanted to sell graded, and luckily came back and got the SGC 10. So another Alonso, same story, boom, and it came back a 10. So very happy with those, with that pair. Eloy Jimenez got this in the same lot, I believe, just a couple of bucks raw. Screened it and it came back a 10. So another success story there. So Gleyber Torres, looked this one over, looked pretty good. This is the coveted US 200 out of Topps Update, and this one came back a 9.5. So let's take a look at this one again. Could be a centering issue, but I didn't see this one as a 9.5. I sent this one in with the expectation that it would gem, so might be a centering, because I thought corners, edges, surface is definitely good. All right, Yordan Alvarez out of 2020 Topps, and this one came back a 10. So very happy to have that one in a 10. So Yordan Alvarez, same card, and this one came back a 9.5. All right, so what I want to show you now is I'm going to pull up, I did a series of videos. Now, the one thing about the seller ready images is that they're very consistent in the location. And with my MacBook, I was able to preview the picture. And when I preview the picture, it's in the same spot every time, if that makes sense. So I'm going to show this little video clip of me going back and forth between the two pictures on the Yordan Alvarez, right? So these two pictures I go back and forth on. And I know that my mug is going to cover the bottom portion of it there, but when you go back and forth on these pictures, you can see the difference in centering, right? If you concentrate on any one point, but what I do, the top left corner, right underneath the Topps logo, you can see a part of the audience comes into play, and then it goes out, comes out. So on the 10, it's visible. On the 9.5, it's not visible. So very minute differences to the naked eye in terms of just looking at one card. I don't necessarily mean the naked eye, but when you're evaluating your cards, definitely for SGC, you want to think about the centering, because what you could barely see there on the 10, this little spot right here is visible, and on the 9, it is not. Okay, and you could go back through that little clip. It's higher there, or it's got less space between the Topps logo here and less space. But these single border, or even some of the 2019 stuff where it's 2 borders, cards can be really difficult to tell whether they're centered appropriately or not. But if you look at SGC's grading criteria, their grading criteria is a 55-45 centering for front centering on a Gem Mint 10. So if you really want the Gem Mint 10, you've got to be on the ball about your centering. And I 100% think that's what's behind these two cards, looking at the video differences between those and whatnot. So Bo Bichette out of 2020 Topps, and this one got a 10. Okay, next one got a 9.5. So I'm going to do the same thing on the Bo Bichette. I'm going to pop up the video. And just give it 1 sec. And so if you could see that, look at Bo's name. It's fatter, thinner. Fatter on the 10, thinner on the 9.5. And you could concentrate on any one particular point on this card, and you can see the difference between the centering. right? So there are differences in centering on this card, right? It's difficult to tell because it's a single border card, but there are definitely differences in the centering. So I'm not mad at SGC because both of those cards were extremely clean. Center, edges, what I could tell from surface, edges, and corners. They were 10s, but they were not 10s, more than likely due to the centering. All right, Keston here. I've been having a lot of these lately, and I still have quite a few that I've submitted. It's a total of about 15 that I had, and I submitted most of them. So this one came back with the 9.5. This one again got the 9.5, right? And then there's my invoice. And then this one came back the 10. So just like I did that before, let's go ahead and take a look at the video clip and see how the Keston reacts. So you got the 9.5 on the front, and in this one you're gonna have two 9.5s, and then you'll see the 10. Right, so the 10 is the model that we want to have the success with, right? And you can do this by holding the card up, right? But you can see between these three cards, there are pretty big differences in the centering. All right, so SGC is not messing around with centering, folks. 55-45 is a very, very high standard. And I got dinged pretty hard on my last order with centering on some of the chrome cards that were immaculate clean. And I got 9s on them, all the way down to 9. So I just didn't pay enough attention to those Tatis chrome cards. And you can go back and look at my SGC2 reveal that I posted, I believe, last week. So I've been getting, these orders were submitted 5 days apart. And again, 31 business days for, I believe, this one, and 32 for my last. So if you've got orders in right now, those are kind of the numbers that you can expect. I think it's going to get better with the press release. They said they just hired some new folks. So that's it. SGC order number 3 is in the books. I hope you learned something about the centering. I know I surely did, and I will pay more attention to it. I definitely would recommend to grab a picture of an SGC 10 and compare it. Some people say I'd try to use a BGS 10 centering card and go by that, but if you're sending to SGC and you want an SGC 10, I would say your best bet is probably to look hard on eBay at some SGC 10s of that card, and then take a look at your centering if you're not sure. You can pick out one particular point on the card. And some of them can be difficult to do because there's not a lot in the background, and they only have maybe one border or 2 borders for the 2019 top stuff. But let me know what you all thought. Oh man, one big card, brain fart. Okay, one big card, 1989 Donruss, Ken Griffey Jr. So pack pulled. Pretty excited about it, and it got an 8.5. So I thought this one had sure potential to be 9 or even 9.5. Centering is awesome on this card, but it got an 8.5. A little rough on the edge right here. When I saw the scan in the holder, I noticed that the edge wasn't that great, but you know, I submitted it, pack pulled it. I'm happy to have it. I wish it was a 9. I wish it was a 95, but you know, maybe I'll chase one down. This is a really, really tough card. PSA is tough on it. SGC is tough on it, but this one here had great corners, great centering. The surface was good. The print quality was good compared to the other one, like I talked about. But that's it. SGC 3 in the books. Let me know what you guys thought about the submission, and if the centering tips were helpful at all. Again, those seller ready images are great. They're great for a lot of things. You can try to use them to judge your centering, but that's a little bit after the fact. You know, you'd have already sent the card down range, but I think you can learn something from what cards. I definitely am going to take my slab can and you know, these cards that are in here, I will put a more watchful eye on the centering of these cards and ensure that if I'm going to send them to SGC, I'm going to be looking for those 10s. And to get 95s, when you can submit and get 10s, it's a big money loss if you're trying to flip the card. If you're PCing the card, man, really, you probably don't care. But let me know what you guys thought of the video. Appreciate you watching.